Hey guys, Deathslitter Magic. It's time for more spoilers from the Brothers War. And I'm getting into the area where we skip a couple, potentially if they're just boring, filler, common, draft stuff. Just check the box, yeah, we got one more tribal, or check the box, we got one more with this mechanic, But you know what is unique? We've got Argivian Avenger. It's a 6-cost, colorless 5/5 artifact creature, shapeshifter, but don't trip, it's not the one you're thinking. So you pay 1 and until end of turn at instant speed, Argivian Avenger gets -1/-1, but gains your choice of flying, vigilance, death touch, or haste. I feel like, yeah, okay, it gets, smaller every time. They maybe should have put a limit on 1 per turn of that activation, but it's not the end of the world. But that's just cool. I mean, the trade-off and the adaptability and the, your opponent better be paying attention. I do kind of like this. If you can draft that, by the way. Next up, Goblin Blast Runner. It's a 1-cost 1/2 red creature goblin. The power creep is real. So it gets +2/+0 and has menace as long as you sacrificed a permanent this turn, which, you might have. Probably not. Depends. Probably a treasure. I don't know. This is kind of weird. But yeah, typical annoying Blitz Goblin. Next up, Power Plant Worker. It's a 5-cost 4/4 artifact creature assembly worker. Ooh, Mark warned us about this one. Told us about this one. You pay 3 and it gets +2/+2 till end of turn. If you control creatures named Mine Worker and Tower Worker, put 2 1/1 counters on Power Plant Worker instead. Activate only once each turn. So it gets 2 counters instead of a temporary boost if you control the other 2. I don't think the archetype is worth building. I don't know what they were thinking. Probably some kind of shoot the moon, assemble Exodia thing for draft. I don't know. Ignore it. Next up, it translates to Transmogrant or Transmogrant, I don't know, Altar. It's a 3-drop artifact, and if you pay 1 black and tap it, sacrifice a creature, and then add 3 colorless mana to your mana pool. You know what would be great is if they started remembering to put the word non-token on some of these cards, because we have these throwaway useless recurring zombies that are completely ruining everything, and every card that says non-token on it, okay, fine. The ones that forgot, oops. So then we've got pay 2, tap it, sacrifice a creature, create a 3/3 zombie artifact creature token, activate only as a sorcery. So this is going in a zombie deck, which is already a very annoying deck. And look what Mono Black is already picking up in this set. I'll give you a hint, it's in day 1 of the spoilers. Next up, Levitating Statue, because, why have it just sit there, right? So it's a 2-cost flying artifact, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on Levitating Statue. That's right, a permanent counter on this stupid Storm Statue. Then if you pay 2, it becomes a 1/1 construct artifact creature until end of turn. So it's safe until you need it, and it relies on spell spamming garbage. This is already a golden card in the already basically unbeatable blue-black, Haughty Djinn deck with the stupid Leviathan. Well, here's your third card. That deck's got to have an 85% win rate. I got to see some numbers on that. Next up, Mass Production. It's a 6-cost white sorcery, so in other words, unplayable. Create 4 1/1 colorless creature artifact creature tokens. Thanks, no thanks. They are artifacts, so it'll probably go on something, but you ain't going to ramp that high in white. This is not going to happen. So next up we got Arms Race. It's a 4-cost red enchantment, and if you pay 4, you may put an artifact card from your hand onto the battlefield. This artifact gains haste, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So if you can't legitimately summon your stupid overpowered 9-cost 9/9s, just drop them in and win the game, and then who cares if it goes away at the end step, there won't be one. What a terrible card. At least it costs 4, so your turn's tied up, but still. It's free casting, it is definitely in the wrong set, and this will affect anything after it, as in sets after this. Next up, Fateful Cooperation. It's a 4-cost rare black sorcery. Target opponent gains control of target artifact you control. Draw cards equal to its mana value. Here, have this. I don't need it. I'm taking these. And that's the whole card. This is wild. I don't even know what to think about this. This is crazy. Next up, Autonomous Assembler. It's a 5-cost 4/5 artifact creature assembly worker, and it has Prototype. You can bring it out for 2 as a 2/2, otherwise it's 4/5 with Vigilance, and if you pay 1 and tap it, put a 1/1 counter on target assembly worker you control. Well, at least people are going to see white and think, well, that doesn't go in my non-white deck. It does. Next up, it's Iron Craw Crusher. It's a 7-cost 4/6 with Prototype, double green, 4-cost 2/5. Otherwise, like I said, 4/6. And whenever it attacks, target attacking creature gets +X+0 until end of turn, where X is Iron Craw Crusher's power. So, yeah, with it being 2, that is a lot smaller. But it's in the ramp color. This is the second best color to play blue with, and I think blue-green is already a hyper-powerful archetype, so you start adding these giant robots to it, and yeah. We are definitely going to see something. Next up, Giant Slagmaw. It's a 3-cost red creature, dinosaur beast, because of course we've got to have a dinosaur in every set, just like we got to have a vehicle. Haven't seen it yet, though. And it has trample, and then players can't gain life, and it's a 4/3. So I hate that effect. It's completely unfair. It's one of the only ways to play around red other than just spam control and removal. Really, really cheap removal. Or ramp completely out of control. So, or spam tokens early and whatever, but gaining life is one of the more polite ways to beat this red rush crap. And there it goes with this. And they've already banned a card almost identical to this, and now they're reprinting it. I guess they didn't learn anything. At least it costs 3, but in my opinion, it should cost 4. It's way too good. Next up, Exaggeration. Just kidding. It translates to over the top. Must be some Latin root thing. So it's a 7-cost rare sorcery in red. That can't be good. Each player reveals cards from the top of their library equal to the number of non-land permanents they control, then put all permanents revealed this way onto the battlefield. What the hell? Put the rest in each player's graveyard. What? Once again, non-land, non-token. Just saying. So you just wait for them to have nothing, or you force them to have nothing by sweeping. Then you can bring out a bunch of enchantments, bring out a bunch of goblin tokens, bring out whatever the hell you want, and then just absolutely dump. It's all permanents revealed this way. All of them, straight onto the battlefield. Doesn't matter if they're land, doesn't matter if you already dropped a land. Everything that you pop is going on the battlefield. So you got 10 permanents in play other than lands. Ta-da! You got 10 more. Congratulations. Now, it is permanents. If you have spells, it won't work, but I would think if you're playing this, you know that. See, this would be a perfectly appropriate, interesting, somewhat balanced card for 7, if 7 meant anything in the game right now, but so much treasure and ramp and multicolored nonsense. Nah, they power crept it way too far. This is effectively too cheap of a card. And I hate it. Next up, Static Net. It's a 4-cost white enchantment, and when it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until Static Net leaves the battlefield, and then when it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life and create a tapped Power Stone token, which is supposed to justify the fact that this probably should have cost 2. I mean, this effect generally costs 3 as of like Fairgrounds Warden and a couple other cards like that, but, and Brutal Cathar, but that card is just a disgrace to the game. Oh man, the level that Standard's already at on the annoying scale is about a 6. This set's going to take it up to about a 9. Just so many pieces coming together and promoting bad gameplay patterns and bad deck archetypes that aren't fun to play against. They aren't going to have a customer left. I can't believe how bad this train wreck is going to be after this comes out. And I think November 15th it's coming out or something? Yeah, buckle up and sell your cards before then. Next up, Sky Strike Officer. It's a 3-cost blue 2/3 human soldier with flying, and when it attacks, create a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature token. Tap 3 untapped soldiers you control and draw a card. You aren't going to win with soldiers, okay? You're going to go wide or play blue. You're not playing this card. Or you're not playing blue. Next up, here we go. Blade Coil Serpent. 6+X Mythic 5/4 colorless. It's an artifact creature serpent, and when it enters the battlefield, for each double blue spent to cast it, draw a card. And then when it enters the battlefield, for each, 2 black spent to cast it, each opponent discards a card. And then the same ETB double red, it gets +1/+0 and gains trample and haste until end of turn, which is the real problematic one. Look, I don't know how hard red can really ramp after losing the majority of its treasure power from rotation, but people are still playing red-based treasures right now, so yeah. And then if you're able to generate 2 of another color, watch out. I mean, draw a card, okay, drawing a card is drawing a card. And then discarding a card this late into the game, sure. But you can tell with this being mythic, this is just a commander card. This is built for outside of Standard, and if it accidentally becomes a thing in Standard, then, note that I just said accidentally. Next up, another mythic, probably one of the last ones, if not the last one. It's Myrel, who knows, Shield of Argive. It's a 4-cost white 3/4 legendary creature human soldier. And during your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. Hell yeah. It's my turn. Stop interrupting me. So they can do almost nothing, which I think is hilarious. And then whenever Myrel Shield of Argive attacks, create X 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature tokens, where X is the number of soldiers you control. Okay, that I hate, because we already have 2 effects that do that, and they're both overpowered as hell, and they're both in white-green decks or white-green plus. And the white-green ones are based on life gain as well, ETBs. And then worst case, they got that one dude out there with black, where whenever something dies, you gain a life and they lose a life. So even a board wipe, when you get to like a max amount of tokens or a low on cards in your hand, they're like, this is when I'm going to hit them. Boom, they take like 30 damage. Just such an annoying archetype. And then we've got this. Oh, the humans are going to band together to, oh, whoops, humans are already a thing. Yeah, you made it a thing in the last damn set. What'd you think was going to happen stacking 2 in a row? So, man, they're going to have to prioritize banning something in that deck. Right after they ban Haughty Jin, one of the worst deck archetypes and cards I've ever seen. But Tenacious Underdog and a couple more black cards need to be banned too, which means, oh, we hit the limit, we're just going to let it ride, hope somebody plays this stupid garbage format, promote Commander, and hope that, for like the 4th time in a row, rotation actually fixes Standard, which it will not. WOTC, put on your big boy pants and start swinging the ban hammer, you absolute cowards. Anyway, next up, oh, another mythic, great. Cityscape Leveler, it's an 8-cost 8/8 colorless with trample. And this can be in anybody's deck, which is probably already alarming, and I haven't even read it. Whenever you cast a spell, and whenever Cityscape Leveler attacks, that's not how you phrase that, but okay, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a tapped Power Stone token. Wow, what wonderful compensation for destroying your city. It must be an Antifa unit. Next up, we got Skyfisher Spider. It's a 4-cost black-green 3/3 spider with reach, and when it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature. We have something called that. It's called Exploit. When you do, destroy target non-land permanent. Great. And then when it dies, wait, let me rephrase that. When you sacrifice a stupid, useless, decaying zombie token, okay, now let's move on. When this dies, you may gain 1 life for each creature card in your graveyard. So you're going to stop and count those, but we all know that the set is unplayable in paper. A human being cannot track what's going on in Standard already, and this set cranks it up to 11. Anyway, if you do exile Skyfisher Spider from your graveyard, or you can keep it there, it's your option. That's interesting. And it's not a death replacement effect, it's a like delayed trigger. Sort of. It all resolves at once in order. I guess it's not a delayed trigger, but whatever. Kind of neat, but whatever. Crypt Incursion was cooler. Next up, Power Stone Engineer. It's a 2-cost 2/1 human artificer, and when it dies, create a tapped Power Stone token. So just a guy to go out there and block and then power up your stupid giant things. Yeah, sounds like something Urza Mishra would do. Next up, Misery's Shadow. It's a 2-cost rare 2/2 shade in black. And if a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. Okay, I love getting stuff out of graveyards. And if you pay 1, Misery's Shadow gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Fire breathing on a black creature that nukes your graveyard. What the hell? Oh wait, pardon me. Double fire breathing because it's +1/+1, not +1/+0. This is utterly out of control, power-wise. You always have the option. It's what were they thinking with this? What a disgusting pile of power-crept trash. In a mono black that's already completely unbeatable. Great. So next up, our Gothian Sprite. It's a 2-cost 2/2 fairy, and it can't be blocked by artifact creatures. Oh, that'll win the game. And if you pay 7, you can put 2 counters on it. I shouldn't even report on this. It's filler trash. Next up, Keeper of Cadence. Keeper of the Cadence, well, pardon me. It's a 5-cost 2/5 blue human wizard. Pay 3, put target artifact, instant, or sorcery card from your graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. Oh, from a graveyard, otherwise that would be pointless. Overpowered filler trash, not worth it. I just wanted to point out a couple of them because we're almost at the end anyway. Next spoiler vid, which is going to be the last one, is going to have a lot of skipped cards because it is Fillerville. So we got Gurgling Anointer, 3-cost 1/3 Phyrexian Horror in black, flying, and when you draw your second card each turn, put a 1/1 counter on Gurgling Anointer. Whenever Gurgling Anointer dies, return another target creature card with mana value less than or equal to Gurgling Anointer's power from your graveyard to the battlefield. Well, that's annoying. Next up, Mind Worker. It's a 2-cost 2/1 assembly worker. You can tap it and gain 1 life. If you control creatures named Power Plant Worker and Tower Worker, you gain 3 life instead. It's like Exodia, except the second you get them all out, you're going to get board wiped. Next up, Rootwire Amalgam. It's, another mythic. Jeez, they're just dumping them all. It's a 5-cost 5/5 Golem. Prototype, 2, including 1 green, 2/3. Okay, that's already pretty good. And then, otherwise, it's a 5/5, and if you pay 5 total, you can sacrifice Rootwire Amalgam. Create an XX colorless Golem artifact creature token, where X is 3 times Rootwire Amalgam's power. What the hell were they thinking here? It gains haste until end of turn, because we all know that green is the haste color. Green and black are the new do-it-all colors, by the way, and white has unlimited card draws, so welcome to hell. Oh, but you can activate only as a sorcery. Oh, wow. Pardon me, I guess I can't respond to a kill spell. I'll just use one of green's many counter spells in the set. So yeah, you invest a lot of mana into it. Newsflash, green has a lot of mana. I don't know if they realize this, but you can make this bigger other ways with passive triggers or with smaller spells, like the other ones in the set. You're going all in hard, but it doesn't matter because it gains haste until end of turn. Here's a question. Why does it only gain haste until end of turn? It's a token. What are you going to, like, drop it back in later? Let me guess. Haste Matters is hidden somewhere in this set. Unbelievable how bad the cards are in this group. My gosh. Almost worse than anything we've seen so far, but not quite. That one black card is just an atrocity. So next up, Trilhar. It's a 1-cost... Yep, that's Portuguese. So it's Bushwhack. A 1-cost green sorcery. Choose one, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Or target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. For 1 in an uncommon slot, you have lost your damn mind. That is way too much utility. Way, 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 way too good. Both of those effects typically cost 2 mana by themselves, and now you've got both in one card. Utterly ridiculous. Next up, Mask of the Jade Crafter. It's a 2-cost artifact. Pay X, tap it, sacrifice Mask of the Jade Crafter, create an XX colorless golem artifact creature token, activate only as a sorcery, and unearth 3. So you bring it out just to sack it, and then you gotta pay the unearth cost, and then also pay to sack it? X on top of 3, what the hell is that? Why would you ever do that? I don't know why this says unearth, it shouldn't. And finally, we're done with today's nightmare of cards. Teething Wormlet, a 1-cost 1/1 in green. It's a rare, it's probably overpowered. Creature Worm. Teething Wormlet has Death Touch as long as you control 3 or more artifacts, and whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. If this is the first time this ability is resolved this turn, put a 1/1 counter on Teething Wormlet. Oh good, more delayed trigger effects and counting and what happened this turn that the pros can use to cheat. Fantastic. Well, this set drove itself off a cliff in a hurry. Can't wait to see what's in store for tomorrow. Hopefully it's all just filler crap and I don't even have to make the videos. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.